Now we'll move on to the next topic, remote login. Previous session we have discussed what are the protocols we'll be using for communication, that is wired guided communication. I hope you will be remembering all the protocols, and we have discussed what is protocol also. Just let me ask few questions. You just recall yourself. Just close your eyes and recall all the protocols, what are the protocols we have discussed, and verify with my answer. The protocols what we were discussed are HTTP, VoIP, PPP, SLIP, NCP, LCP, IPCP, SMTP, POP3, VoIP, IRC, H.323, TCP/IP. These are the protocols we have discussed in previous session. Now we'll move on to the next topic, remote login. One simple question let me ask to you. Just think of that question. Now you people are working in your home computer. You're facing a problem, like you're doing some program in your system. There in your system, if you are getting any error, how can I rectify that error from my place? I hope you will be understanding the question. You people are working with your computer at home. I have given simple assignment like doing some program. You people are doing that program at home, in your home. Now you are facing an error. You don't know how to rectify that error. In that situation, how can I help you? How can I rectify that error? Yeah, just you'll be saying, ma'am will be taking screenshot of that error and will be sending to you. You'll be watching, you'll be seeing that screenshot, and you'll be suggesting that solution to me. Yeah, I can suggest that solution, but I cannot come to your home and I cannot rectify that error, right? Yeah, in that situation, if your system is connected with internet and I too have a system with internet connection, now I can work with your computer from my home itself. I hope you will be understanding. I can work with your computer from my home if my computer and your computer is connected with internet. That is only remote login. From someone's computer, we can operate from some other place, but you should give the permission of accessing your computer, then only we can do it. For doing this concept is called remote login. Remote login is a network application that permits a user sitting at different location to work on a specific program on other program, that is another computer. For performing this process, we need to install a software, client side software. That is, we need to install a software in both the sides. Like I too have to install a software, the same software you also must install in your computer. After installation, if you are launching that application, automatically user ID and password, both the things will be generated in your system as well as in my system. After that, I need to give your user ID, and I want to get password from you, and I want to give that password. If I am entering user ID and password perfectly, automatically your desktop will be opened in my computer. I need not come to your home to rectify all those errors. I can sit in my home and I can work with your computer. The restriction is, the criteria is, we both must have internet connection. That's all. This is the concept of remote login. Okay, let me say few application which can be used for performing this remote login. First application name is Telnet, second one is AnyDesk, next one is Teamweaver. Telnet is a old remote desktop software. Initially, most of the peoples were using Telnet only for remote login. Actually, Telnet is a software which can be used to perform remote desktop login. Next thing is AnyDesk. It is similar to that also can be used. And the next one is Teamweaver, which is the famous one. Most of the software company people will be using Teamweaver only to work with someone's computer from their computer, as well as AmmiAdmin. All those softwares can be used for performing this remote login. I hope you will be understanding. Remote login can be done with the help of all these softwares. Actually, mainly this remote login concept is mainly used to by customer support system. Like if you are placing any queries, that queries can be shut outed by using this remote login concept. It will be mainly used by customer support system to do some installation, setting on clean computer. All those things will be using this remote login. I hope you will be understanding what is remote login. If you want, you just download Teamweaver and ask your friends or ask your relatives to download Teamweaver, and both of you launch the Teamweaver and get user ID and password and connect with both of you and check how it is working. And if possible, you just report to me how many of you have done this. Really, it will be useful for sharing important resources from one system to another system, as well as we can sort out all the problems which others are facing from our place itself. In this COVID-19 that is pandemic, we can use such kind of things to sort out most of the problems. Next, we'll move on to the next thing, Telnet. Actually, as I said already, Telnet is a app which can be used for remote login, as well as Telnet is one of the earliest remote login protocol on the internet. Initially, it was a protocol in the internet. Telnet is a user command and underlying TCP/IP protocol for accessing remote computation. You just open a command prompt, and if you are typing Telnet, automatically it will be accessing TCP/IP protocol, and it will be accessing a remote computer by giving IP address and all those things. So through Telnet, an administrator or another user can access someone else's computer remotely. With the help of on the web or HTTP or FTP protocols allow you to request specific files from remote computers, but not to actually be logged on as a user of that computer. With Telnet, you can even if you are using web or HTTP or FTP protocol, whatever request you are giving, that will be responding, that file will be given to you, but you will not have a permission of, like, you will not have a administrator permission. Just you will be seeing that content if you are accessing any content with the help of all these protocols. But if you want to work as an administrator, then we can use Telnet. With the help of Telnet, you can log on as a regular user. How let me say one example. Srivarshan is using his computer. Now instead of Srivarshan, I want to use, and I should get all the administrator power, what Srivarshan can do in his system, all those things I too have to do in my computer. Then we'll go ahead with this remote login, that is Telnet app can be used. But if I'm using any file transferring, all those things, just if he's sending any file, that I can see it, but I cannot go to his system and I cannot manage his system. That is the main thing. So this can be implemented with the help of this Telnet remote login. Apart from this Telnet remote login, we can use another apps also, like what I said previously. I hope you will be understanding what is remote login and what is Telnet and what is Teamweaver, and then any desk, Ammi admin, all those apps. Now we'll move on. This is very very important concept. You just understand Telnet concept is very important. Often few question papers I have noticed, they are asking to explain about Telnet. Now we'll move on to the next topic, wireless mobile communication protocol. What are the wireless mobile communication protocols we are using? Now whatever we have discussed, those are general protocols where we'll be using in case of wired or wireless communication. Now we'll go for wireless mobile communication protocol. What are the mobile communication protocols we have? First, mobile communication protocols will use multiplexing. You just understand the concept of multiplexing. Actually, multiplexing is if you are sending more than one digital signal, those digital signal will not go as like a single signal. More than one digital signal will be combined and it will be sending us a single signal. More than one signal, that is multiple, either it may be digital signal or analog signal, will be combined and it will be sending us a single signal over a transmission media. It will not be going like a single signal. More than one signal will be combined and it will be sending us a single signal. It will be called as multiplexing. I hope you will be understanding what is multiplexing. If you are doing this multiplexing, the advantages are will be reducing the resources, time, all those things will be reduced. Because of that, cost will be reduced and all those things will happen very fast and all those things will happen. And then similarly at the time of before sending the data, multiplexing will happen. Similarly, receiver side will have demultiplexing. It will be converting combined signals into individual signals. I hope you will be understanding. In case of mobile communication protocol, we'll use a new important concept that is called multiplexing. Multiplexing means we'll be combining more than one digital signal or analog signal and will be framing as a single signal and will be sending that single signal into the network. Now because of that, we need not use different data channel, we need not take care of each and every signal, and then time also will be consumed, cost also will be reduced. So we'll be doing this multiplexing concept. So what we are doing, we are combining all the signals and we are sending us a single signal. Similarly, in receiver side, we'll be demultiplexing all the signals and we'll be getting individual signal and we'll be using it. We will be understanding what is the communication protocol, wireless mobile communication protocol. That is what is the concept we are using in case of wireless mobile communication protocol, multiplexing. It is very very important concept. Now we'll move on to the next thing, wireless mobile communication protocol. Main protocols. What are the protocols we'll be using? GSM. Another thing, after multiplexing, we'll be using multiplexing concept. Apart from that, we'll be using GSM, CDMA, WLL. GSM means Global System for Mobile Communication, CDMA Code Division Multiple Access, and then WLL, Wireless and Local Loop. If you are going for GSM, Global System Mobile Communication, actually similar to multiplexing, GSM is one of the widely used digital wireless telephony system. It is one of the most widely used digital wireless telephony system. It was developed in the year of 1980s by Europe. Now it is international standard, like America, Asia, Africa, and Australia, Europe, everywhere we are using it. Mainly we'll be using this GSM in case of SIM card, where we are using SIM card. This GSM technique will be used. Actually, it is not some other technique or something, it is a standard. GSM is global system for mobile communication. It is a standard. Whenever we are going for any SIM card based, every SIM card will have unique identification number. What does SIM stands for? Subscriber identity module. Yeah, subscriber identity module. Each and every SIM card has unique identification number, and then this the SIM card can be used in any country and uses this standard. Which standard? GSM standard. SIM card can be used in any country. You just understand, SIM stands for subscriber identity module. The SIM card has unique identification number. The SIM card can be used in any country that uses GSM standard. If GSM standard is not used, global system for mobile communication standard is not used, then that SIM cannot be used outside of that country. If we need to use that SIM card outside of the country, we must use a SIM card with a particular standard. What is that standard? Global system for mobile communication. If a SIM card is having the GSM standard, then that SIM card can be used in any of the country, Europe, Australia, Asia and Africa. Anywhere we can use it. Is one of the standard. Will be using the standard only in case of digital wireless telephony system. Actually, GSM standard will use time division multiple access technique. In a single time we can make 8 calls simultaneously. It allows users encryption to make data more secure. So these are the things we'll be using in case of GSM. What else? We are saying GSM is one of the standard. In that standard, what we are using? We are using TDMA, time division multiple access. With the help of this, we can perform 8 calls simultaneously. With the help of this, it will be supporting up to 8 calls simultaneously. It allows user to encrypt the data to implement the security concept. Hope you will be understanding what is this GSM. Then next we'll go ahead with the next thing, GPRS. It stands for General Packet Radio Service. General Packet Radio Service. Actually, it is a packet based wireless communication technology that charges user based on volume of data and the volume of the data the send, rather than the time duration for which they are using the service. Actually, GSM, General Packet Radio Service, it is a packet based wireless communication technology. This technology will be used, and the charges for this using this technology will be based on the size of the data, not based upon the time, how long it is taking to send the data. GPRS is a mobile communication protocol used by second generation and third generation of a mobile telephony. Speed of this is 56 kbps to 114 kbps. However, this actual speed may vary depending upon the network traffic. GPRS, General Packet Radio Service, was based on packet based. Initially, we don't have packet based wireless communication. I hope you know what is packet. A single message will be divided into number of pieces, will be called as packet. Before this first generation, that is before the second generation, we don't have any GPRS technique, General Packet Radio Service technique. But in second generation and third generation only, we have implemented this GPRS in the sense, in case of mobile wireless communication technology, will be implementing packet based wireless communication technology. The charges for this communication will be depending only the size of the data, not the time duration, how long it is taking. The speed will be up to 56 kbps to 114 kbps. However, the actual speed may vary depending upon the network traffic. I hope you will be understanding this GPRS. Next we'll move on to next thing, that is wireless and local loop. This is the last topic, remaining code division, multiple access also will be seeing now. Yeah, these two topics will be seen today, and then we'll move on to the next topic on the next session. Next thing is wireless local loop. Actually, wireless local loop service that can be provided in homes or offices. The subscribers connected to their local exchange instead of central exchange wirelessly. Mainly this wireless local loop will be a local telephone service that can be provided in home or offices. Like it will not be sharing the data through the world. Instead of that, if I need to share any data with the local exchange, then we'll be going with wireless local loop. A data transferred over very short range, it is more secure than wired network. It's one of the wireless, but the data transmission will be happening only within a local exchange instead of central exchange. Wirelessly, it's not wired, it's wirelessly. Similarly, the data transfer will be very short distance, it will be very secure. WL system consists of user handset and base station. The base station is connected to the central exchange as well as antenna. Antenna transmit to and receives call from users throughout the microwave links. Wireless local loop system consists of like base station will be there, and then this base station will be connected to the central exchange as well as with the help of this antenna. This antenna transmits and receives call from user through microwave links. Wireless and local loop will be using uh, telephony service. Wireless local telephony service, it is a wireless local telephone service that can be provided in homes or offices. The subscriber connected to the local exchange instead of central exchange wirelessly. The data is transferred over very short range. I hope you will be understanding this. Now we will move on to the next topic, code division multiple access. Just now we have discussed about time division multiple access. In case of time division multiple access, we can make 8 calls simultaneously at a time. That is only time division multiple access. But in case of code division multiple access, actually it was used by British military during their World War II. After this war, it uses spread to civilian areas due to high service quality. As each user gets the entire spectrum, all time voice quality is very high. In case of CDMA, phones were not using the SIM card, it come with built-in technology. In India, CDMA technology was used by Tata Docomo and Reliance. I hope you will be understanding. SIM card will not be a separate thing. It will be attached with the phone, but now its services are stopped and only GSM network is working. You just understand, GSM, Global System for Mobile Communication, it is one of the standard which will be using TDMA, time division multiple access, for making multiple calls, that is more than 8 calls simultaneously. CDMA is code division multiple access. This concept will not use SIM card, but GSM will be using SIM card separately, and with the help of that SIM card will be accessing or transferring data and sending data, receiving data. But in case of CDMA, will not have SIM card. Instead of that, in the CDMA technology will be built in with the mobile, and with the help of that will be transferring and will be making calls or will be sending data or receiving data. ISP providers are initially CDMA technology was used by Tata Docomo and Reliance, but now the service was stopped. Only we are using GSM network. That's all. Next tomorrow's class will be discussing about mobile communication technology. I hope you will be understanding all these uh, wireless communication protocol, mobile communication protocol, and then what are the protocols we have used, and remote login, all those things you would have understood very clearly. Thank you.